a good weekend. Was absolutely determined to do a podcast before the weekend ended. I actually had a bit of a headache. I think it's dehydration. You've got to be so careful when you're in the tropics. You don't even realize that you're dehydrated until the headache hits you. But there was so much to talk about. I was like, I'm not missing another day. All right, let's get into it because there's quite a few things to talk about. Oh, let me try and stop this music first. It doesn't seem to be stopping. Ah, there we go. Much better. All right, let's see who's in the chat. Hey, Cookies and Cream. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Mina. Hey, Joyce. By the way, if you're listening and for any reason you cannot message, leave comments or in the chat or leave comments, in the replay in the comment section, please do email me. Benjamin was having issues, and I can assure you, we only block trolls here. It has happened 1 or 2 times where a mod has accidentally, blocked someone, but there's no reason I would block like a regular person. And so if you're having issues, please do email me and I will look into that, because I was quite surprised by Benjamin's email. He says that he can't comment, and he's definitely not blocked to the best of my knowledge, and I've looked in the back end, but it's not the first time that somebody has emailed me about this, and it could also be a YouTube glitch. So yeah, if you are a regular and for some reason you can't comment, do not worry, you have definitely not been blocked by me or any of the mods. To the best of my knowledge, it's probably just a YouTube glitch, and I will look into that. Okay, let's get into there's a lot of video and audio for me to play today. Let's start with Meghan's post with her friend Kelly's baby. Absolutely adorable. She made sure to write, "We know I love a redhead, and let me stop you before they start. No, he's not his baby." Ha ha ha. Oh, bless Kelly. Heart mum. Meghan has been a supporter of her. I mean, they've been friends for a while, but they reconnected, and Meghan's been a great supporter of her friend. She's founder of the Alliance of Moms, supporting pregnant and parenting youth in LA's foster care system. A fantastic cause. And she unfortunately lost one of her children and has been blessed with another. What a cute baby. I think Meghan enjoying her friends, enjoying her life. And her friends also getting to see her happy after the hell of the last few years. Also, doing her business, as ever, dropped some more promo for their sparkling champagne. Meghan in a promo. Has anybody got any of the wines? How do you like them? For those of you that do drink wine, what do you think on them? Oh, hang on a sec, folks. Just wanna do something on the back end. One moment. Let me just check the as ever. Yes, it's refreshing. How do you say it? Is it Savion Blanc? Is that how you say it? Those of you who know how to pronounce the names properly. Light and bright rosé. What do y'all think of it? What do y'all think of the range in general now? I mean, it's been out for a while. I know most of you probably, or most of you who live in the States, have had the opportunity to try, different items from the range. What do y'all think of it? And what do you think is next? Right, that's that. Also, the engagement, the levels of engagement are quite telling. And I want to just touch on this before I get into trooping, because the trooping was pooping. Trooping was pooping. All these so-called royal shows, which are really just shows about the Sussexes, keep claiming that Meghan is no longer popular and that she's irrelevant. Yet the available data tells a different story. They can't keep pushing that narrative, but facts don't care about their feelings exactly. I mean, they even tried to suggest somehow that Harry would come super early to the UK to be at trooping. For what? For what? Look at these figures. The likes, the shares, the views. For the anniversary, almost 1 million likes. For Lily's 5th birthday, almost 500,000 likes. For Meghan's photo dump, almost 200,000 likes. And while they're focusing on the royals in Montecito that they claim are irrelevant, you know what they're not focusing on? They're not focusing on trooping. I want you to look at the difference of how the balconies look. This balcony, which they tortured us with, we couldn't stop hearing about this balcony. They should have never given so much attention to this balcony. Look at 2016 versus 2026. Now, I know that Charles wanted a slim down monarchy, but this is giving Ozempic. This is an overdose of Ozempic. So you can see at the top, obviously the Queen in the middle, in the green. I do think that the Queen's presence made a huge difference in terms of who was invited, because I think Betty understood optics a lot better than all of the others. And so I think under Betty's watch, the 354th millionth cousin was invited to the balcony. Because optically, even if you don't even know who half of these people are, and I still to this day do not know who half of these people are beyond the main royals. At least you saw a whole royal family. With this one, you see Sophie and Edward, Charles, obviously, Camilla, the Welleses. There's someone else on the very, very far right, like a couple there. I don't know who they are. And then you have on the very, very far left, they left that man alone. I'm going to show you a video. Where is it now? Do I have it? Of them leaving that man alone. Watch this. I'm going to try and play that again. One sec. Let me play that again. Now, I don't know why they did that. I'm sure now that there's actually been a bit of backlash about this and it's been shared quite a few times, they'll come out with some excuse. Oh, it's protocol, yada, yada, yada. There is no reason for an elderly family member to be all the way on the other side. But again, this is not a family, this is a business. This is shameful. I don't know why they allowed this to happen. I don't know why they thought this would be a good idea. I don't know, maybe when they were up there, whatever they were meant to do, someone decided to change the plan last minute. I don't know. But it just looks bad. Also, I have not seen one single aerial shot so far. I've been looking. And I think we know why. Even if you look at the ground shots, the crowds looked quite sparse. And it looked like the majority of the crowds were tourists. People who would have been there anyway. Mind you, it was a relatively sunny day. Now, there was also booing. And what was even more sad is they had the kids in those carriages. Now, granted, the people who are protesting, they have the right to protest. I blame Kate and William and the institution for having those kids in them carriages, knowing those protesters were going to be there. For the second year, by the way, it actually feels like only yesterday we were watching this almost exact same footage. So that's one. Thank you so much, Black Queen, for the super sticker. Where is that now? Well, let me just. I'm gonna play another video clip. In the meantime, watch this.
Yes, I'm Graham from the public, just down here protesting at Trooping the Colour. So yeah, we're just here to again ask the question: what do they know about the Andrew scandal, and to make sure that people know that there is an opposition to the monarchy in the UK.
Yes, keep asking questions. This one. Let's have a look at this one. Hear me when I'm speaking. That's very annoying. One moment. Can you all hear me? Because I feel like you can't hear me. Hear me when I'm speaking. That's very annoying. One moment. Oh, okay. It's on a little bit of a delay. I think you can hear me now. Can you all hear me? Yeah, I think you can hear me now. Yeah, so that little clip that you saw, that was actually from Sky News. And the Sky News cut just as the umbrellas were going up. Yeah, those little children's faces tell us everything. And you know what's so unfortunate is everything that we're seeing with them, with the Welleses, with the other royals, this is what they wished for Harry and Meghan and their kids. They created an environment where this is okay and this is acceptable. I think that this time next year, I think they will get rid of the carriage procession for trooping. I think they'll get rid of it. Mrs. Flozart, you said, I see new books like Spare from one of them in the future. Those kids shouldn't have been there in the first place. No. Definitely not in the carriages. Black Queen, you said, Mumbles looking over with her black spider-looking eyes, trying to stare down the protesters, as if she have any authority to stop the crap. Exactly. As if she has any authority. FYI, speaking of Mumbles, before the cameras went on, do I have the pictures? Yeah, have a look at this. The Derangers, by the way, they love their fan fiction, and they've been making AI images of William and Kate. So these are AI images, of course they are, because they look way too happy to be the real William and Kate. But this is Kate just before camera time. This very, very cold look. Pursed lips. Is it even natural to have your lips in that expression, like pursed downwards? Like just pure rage and anger. It must be really, really weird, like to have. I mean, there are people who do still show up to these things and they love the royals. And it's like you simultaneously enjoy that these people make a fuss over you, but you also look down on them as well. I've said it before. It is not the natural human condition to have this type of unearned power and position in society. It's just not natural. And they may enjoy a very privileged life, but it's a gilded cage. And I think there's parts of it that they secretly resent, but they'll never let it go because they like the position too much. What a horrific mental cage to be in. But hey, they do it to themselves, and Kate chased that crown, so here we are. So let's have a reading of trooping. What went down at trooping? Shout out to Republic. So, another trooping of the colour. This is from Feminagra. Another trooping of the colour. Another day of military pageantry, polished carriages, balcony waves, and carefully managed royal optics. But outside Buckingham Palace, a different story unfolded. Protesters lined the mall holding "Not My King" signs, anti-monarchy cards, and images linking Andrew to Jeffrey Epstein. And this year, the policing arrangements appeared to keep protesters away from Keir's ceremonial sightlines. Yes, at some points they were even trying to stop the protesters, and it's just like they were trying to bring the signs down. So they had a sign on the barricades, and they were trying to put the signs down. And it's like, I'm sorry, what law is there that stops them from just having their signs up? They weren't being violent. They were respecting space. Before the ceremony began, the Metropolitan Police announced special restrictions on anti-monarchy protesters connected to the campaign group Republic. Protesters were ordered to remain behind black railings on the North Horse Ride near the King George Steps and could not proceed down the mall until police and stewards allowed it. The Met also claimed the measures were needed to prevent serious disruption and minimise disturbance to horses during the event. The timing raised eyebrows immediately. Last year's trooping of the colour produced viral footage of boos directed at senior royals. This year, critics accused the palace and authorities of trying to manage public perception by physically pushing protesters away from the main viewing areas. Yes, this is why they had Sky News also cutting footage or cutting away from those umbrella protesters. They probably weren't expecting that. The monarchy usually avoids direct comment on policing decisions or political matters until moments like this, when suddenly extraordinary arrangements appear around royal image management. But the boos still broke through, honey. Boo! The only thing that was louder than the boos, other than the trumpets, was the clicking of the cameras when they went to that balcony. Because there weren't enough crowds to make enough noise. Some outlets attempted to fold the reaction into broader royal food narratives involving Harry and Meghan, but protesters were focused on something else entirely: Andrew and Epstein. Several demonstrators carried signs featuring Andrew alongside Epstein. Others held placards asking, "What did you know?" and "What are you hiding?" Public distrust around the scandal has become inseparable from anti-monarchy protests themselves. Every major royal event now risks turning into a reminder of the institution's handling of Andrew's downfall. This is not new. I mean, at least this year they were smart enough not to have him on the balcony. They wouldn't dare. Not that they haven't been that tone deaf before. They had him parading around during the Queen's funeral processions. This is not news. Similar protests appeared during previous Commonwealth Day services and royal ceremonies. What has changed is the visibility of the anger and the apparent effort to contain it. Video footage from the carriage procession quickly spread online after viewers claimed Kate appeared visibly uncomfortable during moments of booing. In clips circulating across social media, the Princess of Wales gives a brief wave while maintaining a tight, restrained expression as George, Charlotte, and Louis sit beside her. Now remember, this procession, right, when they're in the carriages, Kate and William get married, 15 years ago now? That's the same journey they took in a carriage that wedding day. And just think about the difference of the crowds and the energy on that wedding day and the energy at trooping yesterday. Of course she can't contain it. Of course she can't contain her frustrations because she worked so hard. Where is the picture now? Where is the picture? Whichever photographer got this picture, it's a G. Because this right here sums up Kate. Desperate for that crown. Going from all that hoo-ha on the wedding day to this. The boos landed harder than palace supporters wanted to admit. Kate tried to maintain composure, but her expression suggested irritation or discomfort beneath the royal performance. Facial expressions can be read in different ways, but The conversation itself reveals something important. The royal family no longer controls the emotional framing of these events as tightly as it once did, and it can't. And neither can the tabloids. Attention now hangs over every royal appearance. The palace wants family imagery because it softens criticism and reinforces continuity. I mean, all of this nonsense about continuity. Have you seen the protest in Belfast? Yes, that's Ireland, of course, but I've had similar things across the UK also. We can't continue with this continuity line. Hang on a sec, folks. I think I've clicked on something and it. Oh, yeah. For years, the monarchy relied on tradition, spectacle, and media deference to smooth over controversy. But events like this show the limits of that strategy. The boos were not random, the protesters were organized, and the signs were specific. And the decision to impose visible protest restrictions before the ceremony only amplified accusations of the institution's fears open dissent. The palace can attempt to move protesters behind barriers. Friendly headlines can try to reframe the backlash as family drama, but none of that changes the underlying issue. Anti-monarchy sentiment is becoming harder to dismiss as the fringe theatre. Drooping the colour was supposed to project stability and unity. Instead, the loudest message many people took away was far simpler. Not my king. And the signs basically stole the show, to be honest. I mean, Not My King group is a very small group. You know, but I think it's their visibility that is so powerful with the yellow signs, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for the media to contain their visibility. So even though they're a very small group, they show up, and they show up consistently, and they're very visible. And that is annoying for the institution. Because what do they do now? Do they just try to ban the protesters completely? That's going to backfire. And they have been very peaceful. One thing about Not My King is that they don't cause trouble. They may cause a ruckus, but they don't cause trouble. They're not violent. They don't bother anyone. They're just there to make their point and go home. Now, this royal parade was, of course, meant to celebrate Charles's official birthday. Instead, the most striking images are going to come from the crowd protesters. Dear oh dear. And for a second year in a row. It'd be interesting to see what they do next year. And again, if anybody has an aerial shot of this year, please send it to me because I haven't seen it yet. That's usually the highlight. They want to show you the aerial shot because they want to show you the crowds. Haven't seen the crowds this time. Black Queen, you said, Karma, poetic justice, treated the one person with black blood so horrifically, brought in this horse to torment Princess Diana to her death. Still on their lazy behinds while, yeah. Karma it is. Cookies, you said, an ungodly family may control their racist UK media, however, they don't control social media. Yes. This is what Notorious was saying the other day on his TikTok. I should have actually gotten that video. The thing is, now you've got creators online who are actually outside of this squad space. You've now got creators that do, wider ranging political news, wider ranging commentary, and then comment on Harry, Meghan, and the royal family. And the Telegraph and the Jonathan Rothermeres and the Rupert Murdochs, they just don't have any control of that. And they look ridiculous trying to police people that just don't really care to play into all of this respectability politics of the royals. This is why, do you remember when Jason Lee of Hollywood Unlocked basically predicted months early that the Queen had passed away, and people were like, "Oh, Jason Lee's gonna get sued. Jason Lee's gonna get sued." I laughed at that. In fact, that whole incident was the reason why he went viral. Hollywood Unlocked. The popularity of that website shut up. Now me, I'm polite. I'm not about to disrespect Harry's grandmother like that. But someone else did, and now they've got $1 million blog. Because the way in which the UK tabloids think that everybody else is going to adhere to the same respectability politics that they do is ridiculous. The tabloids and the tabloid writers have allegiance to a certain level. That invisible contract can definitely get some tears every now and again. But they have a certain allegiance to the monarchy in a way that other people do not. And they don't need to have. Quite frankly, the UK tabloids shouldn't have that allegiance either. Because it's a conflict of interest. No free and fair press. Free, fair and balanced. There's footage of the police taking their banner down. Doesn't surprise me. I don't have that footage. Maybe Baron will. But yeah, I think they were just trying to intimidate the Not My King folk because they wanted to get a reaction from them, and they didn't get a reaction from them. But here we are. Everything they wished on Harry and Meghan, they're getting it themselves. Is there anything else that I wanted to mention about trooping before we get on to... No, I don't think there was. Harry went to game night. He went to the NBA finals. My entire feed is full of the NBA finals. I don't really watch sports, so it's not of interest to me. But it's of interest to our guy, and he was there with the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver. Do you know, it wouldn't surprise me if Harry took ownership of a sports team or league. It wouldn't surprise me if Archwell launched an arm for sports entertainment, like Jay-Z's what do they call it? Is it Rock Nation? They've got obviously the music side. I don't think they have the fashion anymore. I think that went a while ago. The record label, but I think they've also got like the sports entertainment side as well, and they've got something going on with the NFL or something. So it wouldn't surprise me if Harry got into that. I think that there's a perfect lane to go down and something to add to the Archwell Sussex portfolio. Why not? Is Harry considering an NBA team? Maybe. It wouldn't even have to be a team. Maybe there's NBA, all these sports leagues, there's different kind of branches of entertainment, even fashion. There's different things that they could potentially get involved with. Ron, you said the game was so exciting. It looks like it was because everybody's been tweeting about it. Apparently people were so excited they were trashing the streets. Black Queen, I bet Baltimore will be at one of the England World Cup soccer games. Yeah. One thing that William is never going to miss is a football game. I mean, I would hope if England does get to the semi-finals or the finals that Harry goes as well. Don't let the annoying brother go and stop Harry from having a good time, you know? Anyway, Harry sat next to the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, and watched the historic championship match, and was seen with a decorated US Army veteran.
Sports outlets covered it as a routine celebrity sighting. Then the royal tabloids got hold of the story. Oh, they were shocked, I tell you, that Harry just went and had a good time. Because, you know, Harry's meant to be a hostage, y'all. Happiest hostage I've ever seen. And you know they play these weird mental gymnastics, right? So when they don't see Harry, Harry's a hostage. When they see Harry, Harry's trying to escape. And Harry showing up to this game is probably going to get more press from these ridiculous tabloids than trooping. I think while he was there, he also saw Spike Lee. Good for Harry. Going to watch the game. Leslie said, no, that's not a good look on him. We keep forgetting Harry's a royal. Certain things they can do and can't do. Like what? What can't they do? Why can't Harry own a sports team or shares in a sports team or a sports league? What does that have to do with the royals? I don't understand. The same royals that are protecting Andrew, but it's not a good look for Harry to maybe own a sports team? I think Harry can do what he wants. I think Harry can do what he wants. Oh, is there a troll here? Who's the troll? Mod Squad, take care of the troll, please. Yes, Harry was at the NBA Finals. Everybody and their mama apparently was at the NBA Finals. It looks like the NBA Finals is more exciting than whatever is going on at the World Cup. Over at the World Cup, we've got props on the stage malfunctioning. All sorts of nonsense going on. Okay, was there anything else that I wanted to mention before I wrap things up? Oh, I think have I got more pictures? What's this I had on my slides? No, this was actually something I wanted to mention earlier, but I forgot to mention. And this was somebody talking about what it means to be a woman in the royal family. So let's just have a play of this before I wrap things up.
Those are the women that were most outspoken. The minute these women have opinions is the minute they lose public popularity. And to be a popular female in the royal family, you've got to keep your mouth shut.
The press turned against Meghan soon after the engagement because she mentions Me Too.
Oh, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And that completely threw her off, I think, because I think she saw the royal family as a platform to communicate the causes that she was really, really passionate about and the activism that she'd been doing since she was...
Let me just stop right there. This lady is saying that Meghan saw the royal family as a, I guess, a vessel to talk about the things that she's been passionate about. What I find interesting is the way that she frames that, because she's framing it in a way like, oh, Meghan was so naive thinking she could come into the royal family, or that was Meghan's aim. Which I think is not entirely true. The royal family itself, in order to remain relevant, has tried in very weak surface level window dressing type of ways to behave as if it's for the people, or they do these charitable things for the people, and so therefore they should still have a place in modern times. So for her to I feel like the way that she's framing, oh, Meghan thought that she could come into the royal family and the royal family would be a platform, like she's trying to frame that as like a negative, as if the royal family don't try to paint themselves as patrons of the people. But what we're seeing now is that the royal family focus on very surface level things that are very comfortable. Talking about things like Me Too and abuse, and that's not something that the royal family would touch, again, unless it's very surface level, like Camilla showing up and talking about domestic violence while doing nothing about it, and having, you know, been part of what we all know happened with Diana. So I just don't like the way that she framed that.
Was 11 years old, and she thought this would be a great opportunity, but no, because we have to, when we're in the royal family, they have to be sanitised, signed off charities.
Aha. So my point is, I didn't realize that she was actually going to say that. That was the point I was trying to make. It has to be sanitized. It's not that Meghan was naive by thinking that. It's just the way in which it's done in the royal family is sanitized.
That have that little, they're kept in a little box where they are. They're the pretty women on the arm that only say nice, polite things. And that is crucial to their success, because look what happened when Fergie spoke out, when Diana spoke out, and now Meghan.
And it's not just about when you speak out as a woman in the royal family, even when you stay mute, because there are no VIP seats in the colonizing patriarchy. So even when you stay silent and you're a good girl like Kate, misfortune will still come to you. So you know what? You might as well be outspoken and be a woman that's remembered. Diana is going to be remembered. It still is. Her legacy is still very much alive. So much so that they're still trying to kill it. They never will. Meghan, despite it all, she has still risen. Better to be a woman who stands up for yourself than to be a mute. Because you know what? Either way, they're going to try and destroy you anyway. All right. That's going to be all from me. Thank you as always, folks. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button on your way out. Trying to get to 10,000 before the end of the year. I think we can do it. I'm sorry, 10,000 more subscribers to 50,000. So please let the algorithm know that we are here so people can find us. Yeah, most people were watching the World Cup, to be honest, not trooping. Joyce, you said that sanitization screams of inauthenticity. The Royals do not have that remembrance factor, not like Meghan or Diana. Exactly. For sure. Thank you so much. Who's this? Harolyn Barker, thank you. That's a whole lie. Bulliam sick the UK media on Meghan trying to chase her away like he did all of Harry's other girlfriends. That also. Yeah, that family and their goons attacked Meghan from day one. Because the aim was to just get her out. Doesn't matter how good she was doing. In fact, the more good she did, as far as they're concerned, taking attention away from them. That's the real reason behind Charles's Ozempic monarchy. Wants all the attention for himself. Camilla wants all the attention for herself. I mean, what is this gonna look like when, you know, when Charles leaves us? When Charles leaves us, I don't know if Camilla will still be doing trooping. William, jealous as he is, he'll probably want the whole balcony for himself. Just him, Kate, and the kids. Dear oh dear. I went from not even knowing what trooping was to looking forward to it every single year. Just so we can compare. So we'll come back next year and see how much more skinnier the balcony has become. And the crowds have become. I mean, look at Camilla. She is seething. You mean to tell me I spent all these years being a side chick for this? For protesters and booing? Oh yeah, honey. God doesn't like ugly. Anyway, I'm gonna go to sleep now before I fall asleep on you guys. Before I fall asleep on you guys on this podcast. Because it's so late here. I will see you tomorrow, folks. Love yas. Ciao.